that, the ESOP update, I have no reason to think that our ESOP valuation will go up this year, because when you look at profitability growing like it did, that's obviously a very good sign. So I expect ESOP valuation to go up. Those things are underway now that the year is closed out. It'll be the same time frame as last year, although I've got a better handle on what they look for, which I'm going to start immediately after this, because we've been pretty busy up to this point. But all that will come in time, probably Q2. For those of you that are new, that don't know what the ESOP is, or if I say ESOP and you don't know what it means, or you just want a refresher, let me know. I can do a lunch and learn again. I'm happy to do it. I love that stuff. Or if you want to talk to me privately, I'm happy to fill you in. I've got books, I've got educational materials, I can show you real numbers, and I can explain how that's going to impact and affect all of you in a very positive way. So with that, if you want to talk to me offline, I'm happy to have those discussions. So that, a 10-year plan. Yes, a 10-year plan. Most of the time we get up here and we talk about a 1-year plan, or we talk about a 3-month plan that never comes to fruition. Tonight we're going to talk about a 10-year plan, and I'm going to tell you, Brad and I and the executive team are as excited about this company as we have been in a very, very, very long time. We have been working, well, I'll just get into it. I tend to get ahead of myself on these slides. So with that, in 10 years, this is our plan. We are going to be a $20 million company at 20% profit, and our goal is to get a referral from every single one of our clients. And if you feel a little sickness in your stomach right now, I guarantee you the sickness in your stomach doesn't compare to the sickness that I have in my stomach right now.
That's not sickness, that's excitement.
It is butterflies, because it is a very, very tall ask. That is 3 times what our service revenue is today. And that is going to be very challenging to do. Not difficult, challenging to do. We can get there. I fully believe we can get there. And tonight we're going to talk about how we're going to get there. We have a platform to get there. So, we have done several things over the years. We've gotten to the place we're at today in our business. I'm not going to read this slide. We are 20 plus years in this business. We started from really nothing. I mean, nothing. And we reacted to problems and built this company to the size it is today, reacting to day-to-day problems. And although there's planning and there's things we do, for really the first time in our history, we not only have a system in place that will help us grow and get to the next level, but we have the people in which to do it as well. And I'm going to talk more about that in a second. So one of the things we've done is we put in an operating system for our company. And I'll tell you personally, one of the things that makes me most excited, and one of the things that, for those of you that have known me for a long time, there's a lot of agita sometimes, and sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, Bart and I talk about it frequently, wake up in the middle of the night, and I think about a problem. And I start thinking about that problem, and regardless of what time it is, I get out of bed, and my night is done. There is no more sleeping. Because I think about, okay, now that's a problem I have to solve. How am I going to solve it? Who do I have to get involved? And how do I get past the barrier of, once we figure out what that solution is, how do we move the ball down the field and make sure that it actually gets solved forever? You guys all know about the problems that have lingered forever and ever and ever. That isn't because we don't want to solve them. It's because there's no really good way to have follow-up, and there's no structure, and there's no way to actually keep progress moving. And I will tell you, for the first time in the 22 years, we now have a system that when I wake up in the middle of the night, I log an issue, and you're going to hear that word a lot. I log an issue, and now I no longer feel it is my responsibility to not only solve the issue, but to put a process together to solve that issue. Because now we have a process to make sure those most important things get finished. And I'm going to talk about that stuff tonight. So this isn't a theory, this isn't this is a flash in the pan, this is going to go away very quickly. This is as solid and core to this company as what TPG is to us. And we've been a member in TPG since its inception. So there are things that when we see them, a light bulb goes on and we're like, that is it. That is the way that we get beyond where we're at today. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. It brings focus, discipline, accountability, all the things that we talk about but never really could get there because I didn't know how to get there, we didn't know how to get there. Now we have a way to get there. So this is it. There's really 6 pieces of the business, okay? So this is how our business is broken up. Every place you see a green are things that we're doing really well. Right now, when you look at our business, our goal is to get 90% of that done. And we're 65%. We're very successful. We've done a lot of wonderful things. We do a lot of wonderful things. Me talking tonight doesn't want to throw a wet blanket on all the things we've accomplished. We've done a lot. But I can tell you, me personally, Brad, a lot of people in this room, I'm sure you're not okay with being where we're at right now. You're not okay with that personally. You're not okay with that. You want to grow. You want to get better, just like we all do. So tonight we're going to talk about that. So if you think about this, vision. We're going to cover the vision tonight. 20 at 20, referrals by every client. Data, scorecard measurables, that's free. We are very good at measuring. We're a bunch of engineers. I mean, we're really good at scorecards and metrics. Really good at it. Process, we have a ton of process. Probably, some would argue, too much process in some areas. People, we have the right people. We started this process really a year and a half ago. If you look around this room, the people in this room are different this year than were here this time last year, and are different than the year before. People are dreaming. We have the right people to do this. For the first time in our history, we have the right people to do this. Vision, that is 100% on me. We talk about things in these meetings, and we've got a lot of it. We don't have all of it. Tonight, we're going to disclose all of it. Traction and issues. Here's the things that I was talking about that keep us up at night, okay? We know what's important, but we don't always deal with the most important. We don't have a process to deal with the most important. And when we do deal with the most important, there's really no structure to make sure that that doesn't keep momentum. We have that now. Issues. Everything we talk about are going to be issues. We're not going to have meetings, and I know this gets into another slide. We're not going to have meetings that just talk. Every single meeting is to accomplish something. And what's going to be accomplished is we either solve the issue, or we create a series of to-dos for people to do and report back on. If I am responsible for a to-do, it is my job because I know at the next meeting I'm going to be asked about it. And I don't want to go to that meeting and say, you know what, I really didn't think about it. Or, oh, I totally forgot about that. Or worse, I hope you forget about that. There is no more forgetting. So our goal is to focus really on these 2 red areas. And we have been doing something as an executive leadership team to focus on these 2 areas. And I can tell you, it's pretty powerful. So this is the process. This is the process that myself and the leadership team has started on. We had a kickoff meeting where we had to look at this process and say, okay, it's for us or not for us. After that, as some of you have noticed, there have been several times that none of the leadership teams have been in the office. Typically, those have been Fridays, it's been several meetings, but we are off-site literally putting all of this together and planning our future. I know there are rumors. Rumors are we're merging with another company. We're being sold. We're being bought by Uncover. We are going out of business. We are doing all these things. What we were doing was planning the 10-year future of this company. So we've gone through, and we're going to cover a lot of this tonight, accountability charts, rocks. Rocks in this world are the most important things that we prop us along. Meeting pulse, how do we get those meetings where they're effective? Vision, core values, 10-year target, a marketing strategy, what that looks like in 3 years, what that looks like in 1 year, what that looks like next quarter. Level 10 meetings, you're going to hear a lot. To do, to done. It's all of these things, and once where we're at right now is right here. And now we have a process every single quarter, along with the annual planning, to make sure that we are staying on target to hit our long-term goals. So what I just described is how we got here. We have been working very hard to get the right people on this bus so we can figure out what direction it's going. You in this room are the right people. No doubt in my mind, and I've said it every single quarter for the last year and a half, that the team we have right now is the best team we've had. And every single quarter it has continued to improve. And I vow to you today, that is going to continue. Because nothing happens in this company without good, quality people that are, as I like to say, Propolonians, which you've heard. So, we didn't have to look far. We talked about core values. We have the mirrors. This is actually not very far from the mirrors. The only difference between the mirrors and this is the mirrors we talked about and developed them loosely. What we did here is actually, we looked at every past MVP. We looked at the nominees for this year, and we said, what are the qualities that make them MVPs? What are the things that make them really great? What are the things that make them a Propolonians? And we just dissected what every single one of these people here have. Every past MVP winner, Blaze, and John, and Mike, and Deanna, and everybody, and we went through and said, okay, what are the things about them that makes them the best? And we pruned that down and cut that back to these 4 things: all in, tenacious, exceptional, and high energy. And you're like, okay, those are pretty broad words. We're going to define what those things are tonight. So all in. All in. Ours goes to 11. I mean, you know who all in is. Jason and Mike. They recognize the real need. They don't kick the can down the road. They don't leave it for the next guy. They are reassuring. They're empathetic. They have situational awareness. They see a problem, and I know you all know instances where a problem came in at 5 o'clock, or a problem came in at 4:30, and it would be very easy just to push that client off. And the next thing you know, Jason's working on it till 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Or Mike finds a problem that isn't even necessarily a client-facing problem, but a problem with an internal process, or a problem with something that maybe he's not happy with the way projects kicked it over, and there's a flurry of emails that go around that night. Exactly. But it's that thing. It's doing the right thing when no one is looking. Okay? There's a great analogy that says, you know what, if you want a good framer for your house, you don't ask framers, you ask the drywall. Because the drywaller cleans up all the shit of the framers and makes everything square. If you want to find a good drywaller, ask the taper. Because the taper is the one that follows the drywall. You want a good taper, ask the painter. You know, it's the same thing. Whether what we're looking for is it doesn't matter who follows our work. If our competitors follow our work, the best compliment we can get is, you know what? We don't like it because they kick the shit out of us, but they do it right. Which we've heard. That is all in. I don't know how else to describe it other than ours goes to 11. Tenacious. Tenacious is a choice, it's not experience. We can have somebody that it's their first day on the job, and I'm going to pick on Max. Max is tenacious. Max doesn't have any more IT experience than, he's probably one of the least experienced guys in the room. But there's a tenacity to not quit, to take responsibility, to find the problem. It doesn't mean you solve the problem. You don't have to be the most experienced one, but it's the one to recognize it and say, you know what, I gotta get Blaze involved. You know, I've gotta get Jason involved. I've gotta get John involved. It is taking it to the next step and not leaving whatever problem hanging or leaving it for the next guy. There is tenacity. It is not just listening to, or not just hearing a client, but listening. And it is really having the situational awareness to say, yeah, this is a big deal for you, so I'm gonna make it a big deal for me. What it is not, it's not dependent on experience. It's not leaving it for the next guy. It's not taking the easy road. It is digging in and recognizing and finding the root cause. If there's one complaint we get from our clients, it is kicking the can down the road. QuickBooks, great instance. This week, we're not the only one with the problem. We had a QuickBooks problem this week. Our balance sheet didn't balance. Yeah, by definition, it should balance. It's in the name. So I asked Sugi, I said, Sugi, you need to call QuickBooks. We pay them a shit ton of support every single year for them to jump in and fix problems like this. She talks to a level 2 engineer at QuickBooks, and the advice he said to her was, oh, you have too much data. You have to start your QuickBooks file from scratch. No, not at all. So then I and Sugi get on the phone, and we talk to somebody that is tenacious at QuickBooks. And what they said is, okay, I'm reading that guy's notes, just ignore what he said. And he jumped in, and he did some things in the back end, found the problem. What do you know? Our balance sheet now balances, and we don't have to restart the company from scratch. Because restarting the company from scratch means we lose all historical comparison data. It makes it very, very difficult to compare anything. And it's it was just a stupid answer because that guy didn't want to deal with that problem at that moment in time. That is not awesome. Exceptional. It's a very, very broad word, but exceptional doesn't just apply to work. It applies to you in your life. You're not the one to sit on the couch and let life come to you. You are passionate about things. It can be paintball. It can be trading Bitcoin. It can be anything, but be passionate in your life. You know, you're not one to sit on the sidelines and let life come to you. You go out and seek it. Your exceptionalism might be you're the smartest dude in the room or smartest dudette in the room. That's fine. You might be the most empathetic in the room. It doesn't matter. There is something about an Acropolitan that makes you exceptional, that makes you special. Whatever that is, it doesn't matter. You make the people around you better. I use the same analogy over and over and over again, which actually is kind of validated because apparently you have to hear it 7 times before it really sinks in. But I remember Catherine was a newborn baby. I am in the shower, and I've got a shower radio that I'm listening on low, and Fabaz on KSHE is talking to Sammy. And if you guys have heard the story, but I've probably said it at these meetings. And you can tell they know each other. They are friends. He actually says as much. He goes, Sammy, every time I talk to you, whether it's on the air, off the air, if I see you out, whatever, he said, you are always the same person. He said, can you explain why? He goes, it's easy. He goes, you surround yourself with people that don't suck. He goes, every single person in your life adds energy to you and makes you better, or sucks life out of you and takes it away. He goes, I won't allow people that suck life out of me to be in my life. It's that simple. He goes, that's why I'm so happy. I am surrounded by wonderful people every single day. And that's what exceptional is. You make the good in people better. Could you imagine a company that every single person here made the people around them better and didn't suck the life out of them? How awesome would that be? Would you not jump out of bed to come to work every single day? Or every other day? Yeah. Look at him. He's happy because he's surrounded by people that don't suck.
I've seen Mark do that. That's awesome.
So last, high energy. Oh gosh, this is a good one. So they're the Tiggers of the world. They're the Tiggers. We have several. I've only highlighted 2. But they make the people around them better. They're fun. They are energetic. They're passionate about things. They bring it to work. No one can argue that since adding Maria to our team, and I'm picking on her a little bit, adding her to the team, look, I would never have, did I ever wish anybody a birthday? Ever? It's not that I don't care. I didn't go out of my way to find out when your birthdays are. I think it's great you have birthdays because that means you're alive. But beyond that, it's cake. But I would never send a birthday meme. It's just not the guy I am. But I can tell you, as much as I think that's fluff, when I get one, I'm like, that's pretty cool. It's pretty nice if I think about it. It's stuff like that. The parties that Sarah puts together, all of that adds to what we do. And I'm not expecting everyone to be Merry Sunshine every single day. It's impossible. But I'll tell you, if you look at the whole, if you add up everything every single day, we have flywheel, which I know you guys have heard about. Every interaction with each other, every interaction with your spouse, every interaction with your girlfriend, every interaction with a client, either adds energy to this big, imaginary, heavy flywheel. I know that's a water wheel, but there are no good flywheels. But a big, heavy flywheel, every little interaction adds a little energy. Every big win adds a lot of energy. Every lost client takes energy away. Every time we kick a can down the road, it takes a little energy away. But pretty soon, that inertia builds up. And if we're doing enough really, really good things for our clients and each other and the people in our lives, you can't stop it. You can't stop it. It takes a lot to stop it. All right? It's that stupid wheel on The Price is Right. The macho guy that gets up there and goes, and spins it. It spins for a month. And Drew Carey, I guess now, gets pissed off because it's spinning for a month. That's the inertia I'm talking about. All right? Other than Gary Hollingsworth, we don't have any big macho guys, but I'm going to tell you, sorry, but I'm going to tell you, every interaction adds energy. I want you carried pissed off. Culture. We talk about culture. Oh, I want a great culture. One of the things that when Josh took his job, he said, I want to be the king of culture. I was pointing at both of you. You're both in lecture. He said, look, I want this place to have a great culture. You don't get to artificially choose a great culture. You just don't get to say, I'm going to put in a popcorn machine and the culture's going to be great. I'm going to put in a soda machine and the culture's going to be great. That's not where culture comes from. Culture comes from great people solving problems for great clients and looking out for each other. And all the stuff I'm talking about. Culture is the byproduct. It's not the actionable thing. So our market strategy. Okay, so how are we going to get to $20 million? This is going to be our filter for every single marketing dollar we spend in the company. We cannot be all things to all people. It's impossible. And what's the saying? A fox that chases two rabbits catches neither. It's the same thing for us. We've gotten better over the years and gotten much better over the last couple of years, but we can't market to every single company or every single client type out there. Because believe it or not, there are some that just aren't really good fits for us and that we're not really good fits for. And we're going to get into that now. So, what does the company look like? We know who they are. I mean, we know who they are. If I wouldn't have put this slide up, which I should have done, and just said, who are our best clients? I'm guessing at least 3 of those 4 would have came up, along with a lot of others. We know who our best clients are. They're the clients that are within 60 minutes of our office. They have 30 to 80, give or take, computer users. You know, they value partnership over commodity services. They don't shop on the price. They need IT to produce their work product. Maybe with the exception of Beverly Farms, every other client needs IT to support their work product. They're successful companies. They're willing to invest. They understand the value, but they also understand we're not perfect. And they want to work with us when we make mistakes. They are honest. They have integrity. They have all the things that I hope we, as a company, to our vendors have. They're the ones that send in notes when somebody does something above and beyond, or even something not above and beyond, just goes out of their way a little more than usual. They're not the biggest clients. They're not necessarily spending the most money with us, but they are the ones that appreciate us the most and work with us. A lot of them have more money than they have time because they need IT to produce their work product. So companies are fine, but a company alone doesn't make a great client. There are some great clients, but if our point of contact isn't like these people, it becomes very, very difficult for us to work with. We know who these people are. Again, if I were to ask, you probably could have named those 3, if not more. John Beard's maybe is a little removed since JCH took over, but I can tell you, he was that guy for us. They are us. They could be sitting in this room right now, and they match our core values. They're just doing our core values for somebody else. You know who they are. They're the ones that appreciate us. The difference between this and the previous slide is they have respect in their companies to speak true to their supervisor, to stand up for us when they know we're doing a good job. And maybe their stupid president named Tracy says, Suki, we need to reduce money then. We need to go, we need to cut that cost. And their Suki says, you know, yeah, but I understand it's expensive, but let me tell you what that's going to look like if we go down that path. And yeah, that makes sense. Let's not do that. So it's those people in the company. They're good at delegating. They are tough but fair. They're confident in their role. They're not the Eeyores. They are the Tigers in their company. They have organizational clout, which I talked about before. They're respected within their company. They speak truth to each other, to us, even though sometimes it hurts, and to their supervisor in their company. They're good at delegating. They're not trying to protect their job. They don't feel threatened by us. They actually want us to be successful because that makes them successful. And they're trusting people. So how do we attract more like them? So I think one of our messages that us as a team came up with is really threefold. When you look at what differentiates us, there's really 3 pieces. We protect what they built. They are very successful. They have gotten to where they're at by being a good, solid business. So the first thing we need to do is protect what they have. And we do that through our proactive services, and we do that through expanding our proactive services. We optimize what they have. How do we make it better? We don't inherit a perfect environment, or rarely do we inherit a perfect environment. So how can we help them get the most out of what they've already spent money on? And then the last thing is grow. And there was a big debate in our group about grow. What can we do to help them grow? I don't know anything about law. How can I help them grow their law practice? If we're selling to the right people, what we can do is take all of the burden of this IT off of them so they can focus on growing their law practice. We can help them put budgets together so they can set up their 10-year plan for growth. So they can do the things instead of focusing on IT. Every minute that we can take from them to make their job easier is a minute they can spend doing serving their clients.
The other thing we can do to help our clients grow is as our VCIOs go out and interact with different law firms, for example, they can take ideas that they learn at XYZ law firm, and unless it's proprietary knowledge or something key to that business that's secretive, they can go and say, hey, you know what? I found this way to, import stamps into Adobe for you. It's something, that I brought it today out of Flint. It's just that little thing, and Lisa's eyes were like, oh my, if you have little tips and tricks, we love that. It's those types of things that we can do to help our clients grow. And, as the engineers are out there working and they see things, if they can bubble that up to the VCIOs, then they can convey to the client or convey to a different client. I mean, that's valuable. And that's really one of our big differentiators, I think. Anyway.
And I'll tell you too, that is probably one of the things that because it's so different. I mean, all of us come from a technical background. To go to that next level, it is going to be very challenging to do. But I think we can get there. It's a bit aspirational, but we will get there. So on track, off track. So yeah, I set a 10-year goal, and in the old world, we get 6 years in, and first of all, if we remember we set that 10-year goal, it would be an accomplishment. But, so how do we know if we're getting there along the way? So, by December 31st, 2020, roughly 3 years, a little less, we're going to be at $12 million and 20% profit. We're going to be one team, unified. We're going to be very easy to deal with. We're going to have 150 clients at least $650,000 in monthly recurring revenue. We are going to have 30 clients in the data center. Data center performance is going to rival on-premise performance. We're going to be delivering client strategy. We are going to be helping them grow that very last piece of that. And 50% of our clients are going to have referred us to other clients. Hands down, the #1 way we get business, and not just us, every company in TPG, because it's something we track, is through referrals. The way I buy things is through referrals. If there is someone I trust that said, hey, and I share I've got this problem, they're like, hey, you looked at this? I'm like, does it work for you? Yeah, done. That's a very, very quick sale. We have to generate the trust in our clients so that when those things come up to their friends, that they tell people about us. Inbound leads in 3 years are going to be maximizing our sale capacity. It is no longer going to be, hey, if you want to sign up for a contract, we're going to let you sign a contract. It's going to be, do you meet the criteria that we set out here tonight? And if you don't, you're going to have to convince us why you're going to be a good client for us. That is going to be very, very hard for us to do. 75% of our clients are going to be target clients. And what that means is, unfortunately, more attrition. Because we don't have 75% of our clients that are our target clients. Doesn't exist today. So either we're going to have to bring them along and prove value to turn them into those clients, or they're just not going to be for us. But we have to be so good operationally that our target clients are telling the others about us. We are going to be the best fucking IT company in the region. We started out just trying to be the best IT company in the world. And it was the best IT company company in Alto. Then it was the best IT company in Madison County.
You add and shit at the end, it sounds more gangster.
What's that?
You add and shit at the end, it adds.
And shit.
Yeah.
And shit. But we have conquered every single market we've gone into. And St. Louis is no different. The region is no different. IT companies suck. They suck. They're terrible. We deal with them every day. They suck. We know they suck. So let's stomp them. So 1 year-ish from today. By the end of the year, we're going to be at $9.8 million revenue, 20% profit. Monthly MRR is $520,000. We were within striking distance of $500,000 in recurring revenue this year before the attrition hit. We thought it could have gone either way. We were projecting over $500,000, which will be great. It'll be big. We will be educating our top 5 verticals, which is going to take a lot to do. We've already started putting together a marketing campaign to attract our target clients. 6 new data center clients, much easier to work with than we are today. That is something we get all the time, something you guys see as well. And we are working, one of our rocks is to make it easier for clients to make the jump to our data center. We make that process so hard, and it's not just me, it's not just Brad, it's not just Kevin, it's not just us. We have to figure out that process to get them in there and not give it away. Because we can't get the 20%. It would be easy to get the $20 million if we gave everything away. That would be easy. We could get to $100 million if we gave everything away. We're not going to do that. So we have the challenge of figuring out a way to get there and still be profitable. 3 months from now, 486,000 MRR. Our offerings fully documented and communicated. That's my rock. 10 new valuable and measurable proactive services with communication plan. So this is pretty interesting. And this is what I think is the secret sauce. And we do awesome things every single day. Since this company was born, there have been times that I've been sitting with Brad, or been sitting with Kevin, or been sitting with somebody that's very smart, like you in the room. And I will hear an explanation of something. And me being me, I'll say, holy shit, we don't charge enough. Because what you just came up with is so crazy smart to me that we're not billing enough. Which if a client hears that, they're going to say, man, what I'm paying you is very valuable. Okay? There are things we do on the proactive service side that you guys just do because it's easy. By the way, every time I've ever said that to Brad, he's like, it's not a big deal, it's easy. It's easy. I can do that in my sleep. It takes me 10 minutes. It's easy. Blaze, it's easy. It's easy. I do that all the time. It's easy for you because that's what you're good at. But for a goober like me that is buying our services because we sell to goobers like me, it's mind-blowing. So things happen. And we have a terrible way to communicate it to our clients. But yet we try to charge, or we do charge, 20 to 25% more for our services when compared to the competitor. But if we are doing a good job saying why we're worth it, if we take a stance and you solve something that is truly cool and you don't say anything and it just goes, the goobers like me have no idea what you just did for my company. No idea. Now, there's a fine line. We don't want to be douchey. I mean, you can't say, hey, I did that thing for you, isn't it awesome? We can't do that. But there are at least 10 things that we do. At least 10 things we do on proactive services or things we do that prevent problems down the road. We have to figure out what those things are, and we have to figure out a communication plan to make sure our clients know it. Okay? One of the things Josh and I talk about is Josh, I'm just going to say, Josh says, look, he goes, I don't think the VCAOs have confidence in the services we deliver. There's a reason Troy jumps in to service tickets and helps, because he doesn't trust us to solve the problem. There's a reason that Brad is always over talking to Jason or always up in our grill, because he doesn't trust that when it's handed off to us, that we're going to solve the problem. And here's why. Because the only thing our VCIOs hear from our clients is the shit, the stuff we screw up. We have to figure out how, from a service and project team, that our VCIOs are hearing the great things we're doing. Because unfortunately, if all I hear is the shit, I'm going to think we're doing a terrible job. But if we communicate better internally and communicate better to our clients, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, hang on there, client. You have no idea what we just did for you or what we just saved from you. or save you from. And that's what we have to do a better job at. And we are going to figure out what those things are. And Josh and the rest of the service leadership team is going to come to all of you, and we are going to set up a way that we can communicate and bubble those things up when they happen, because that is the difference. Those things that we're just doing is the difference between us and the competitors. The difference is our competitors are saying they do those things too. But we know they can't. They can't. They get it when they see it. When RPS comes in and we're onboarding, we're 2 days in, and we find a problem that we shouldn't be found, really. And they're like, holy shit, you guys are different. But at that point, they've already decided to buy from us. We have to convey that on the front end when we're dealing with our competitors that are willing to give away services just to get them to buy. And that is the challenge that we have over the next quarter.
We have to convey that like quarterly, monthly to our clients, because then that's how we get the referrals. And that's one thing that, we don't have a good feedback loop as VCIOs, take that back out to the client.
Because I'm going to tell you, as long as our VCIOs are jumping in and solving service issues, they're never going to be able to get to the point to adding business value. Never, ever. We have to elevate them, because the service issues, you guys already fix them. But we've got to solve the business issues, because again, we have to close that gap on that 20-25% premium that we're always going to ask for. So measurables, you guys aren't the only ones with metrics. These are our metrics. We track every single week. And if you see, there's a lot of faces down through here that are us on the executive leadership team. And if they're off, we got to talk about them, we got to solve them. Our issues. We have solved 50 issues since we started putting this process together. And we have hundreds of more issues to go. Hundreds of more. You can see what some of them are, but every single meeting, if it isn't working to solve an issue, someone says, that's a tangent, get back to the issue. And we work until we solve it or come up with a to-do to lead to a solution. And again, you see there's a face with every single one of them. Those people are responsible for that issue. So, realignment for growth. What got us here isn't going to get us to 20 million. It can't. It can't. So we do have to change a little bit of structure. And the way we got to this was very early. We sat down and said, look, none of you in this executive room have jobs. Tracy's not the president. Brad is not a DCAO. Josh is not in charge of service. Kevin's not in charge of projects. Bart isn't in charge of account management. What do we need in this company to get us to that goal? Let's figure out the roles we need, and then we'll figure out if you're the right people to be in those seats. So, like I just said, we got to this by reacting day-to-day challenges. This new structure is going to be forward-looking. Everything in the company will have a single executive responsible for it. Doesn't mean they'll be the one doing it, but they are the one responsible for making sure it gets done. They're accountable. So this is the top structure. So visionary, you guys are going to say, what the hell does that mean? I said the same thing. We'll get there in a second. Integrator, what the hell does that mean? These are not job positions. These are accountabilities. This is an accountability chart. It's a little different. If you look, new business development, client strategy and services, services and delivery, finance and administration. So I'm going to get in and explain what some of these things are. I'm going to start with Brad and I, visionary and the integrator. So it's kind of funny. If you guys haven't noticed, Brad and I are a little different. Sometimes we both the shit out of each other. He can hit the balloon. Brad's a better thrower than I am, and I'm not a good thrower, apparently. But I'll tell you, we are very, very different people. Brad is, hey, let's just jump and run down the path. I'm like, hey, why don't we create a plan, and then let's figure out if we want to jump, or do we want to step into it? Because I'm not going to jump without a plan. Very different people. What's wonderful about it is we don't have the market cornered on that. There are a ton of businesses started that way. The difference is, up until literally 3 months ago, we never knew that was a thing. Never knew that was a thing. I bugged the shit out of him because he's like, why are you so conservative? And he bugged the shit out of me, like, I can't believe this is so long. Life. I'm like, you're killing me. You know, why do you create messes that I have to clean up? And he's like, why don't you create more messes? You know, we need to grow more. How come you, as president of the company, aren't growing more? And I said, because you're getting away and going out, charging down the path and going around me to get things done. But I'll tell you, when we're not on the same page, we send mixed messages, as I deal with weekly. Not in the last 3 weeks you had it. Fair. But I'll tell you, at our very first meeting, our facilitator that kind of helps us with all this stuff says, you guys need to read the book Rocket Fuel right now today. So it's funny because neither one of us read, we listen to books on tape. So we're listening to the same book on tape, and my phone will ring on the way to work, or my phone will ring on the way home from work. And they'll say, hey, have you got to this part yet? I'm like, I'm about 30 minutes ahead of that. He goes, I'm not really comfortable with that. I'm like, give it 30 minutes. It'll make a lot of sense. But for the first time, it explained our differences. And I'm like, so I shouldn't be pissed off at you because you're not like me. I shouldn't be pissed off at you. We're just different. And for the first time, they explained what those differences are. So Brad, in the visionary role. The visionary role, and it's funny because I read a book several years ago that was Walt and Roy Disney, and I think we had like 6 employees at the time, and my wife made fun of me, and everyone that knew I read the book made fun of me. And I'm like, look, I want to be the best. It's that simple, I want to be the best. So I should read books about companies that want to be the best. And everyone said, well, you're no Disney. I go, no, but Disney was once us. And as stupid as that sounds, it's true. This isn't about money. This isn't about stuff. This is about being the best. That's simple. That's simple. And when I'm reading this book about Roy and Walt Disney, Roy was the guy that nobody's ever heard of. Roy was the guy in the background that when everybody was copying all the Disney stuff in the early years, what Roy did is Roy went to them and said, you know what, why don't we make you the only licensed partner, because actually the stuff you make is better than the stuff we make, but you'll be the only one that makes it, and you will make more money than you've ever made. While Walt is out there drawing and being the out front guy, Roy's in the background making sure the business is funded and making sure the 10 times they almost went out of business, they didn't go out of business. So this is the difference, and this is their description, not ours in most cases. So the visionary role. Lead first. Plans take too long. 20 ideas. One good one. Creativity, problem solving. Brad has always been the one. The reason we're here is the first year we were in business. We would go, and I tell this story all the time too. We'd go meet with a client on Friday when I was working at Corps of Engineers, and they would say, I've got this problem. Brad would say all the stuff Brad says, and then we'd leave, and he would say, do you have any idea what they were talking about? And I'm like, no idea. He goes, go to the bookstore. Because back when we started this company, there were bookstores. And he would read a book, cover to cover, and then go back the next Friday and do it like he's done 1,000 times. That's him. That is not me. Big client relationships, research and development. Emotional. For those of you in the knob, when something goes wrong with a client, you know, emotional. I don't think anybody outside of Suki's ever seen me kick anything.
I saw the hole in the wall.
That was Brad. That was Brad.
I read your email.
Why? Somebody needs to give him less access. Brad's the guy you want for the fire truck. Brad's always said, you know what? He goes, I would love to be an engineer dealing with emergencies. It's that type of thing. Brad's role is to support every single department. He enjoys being out front in front of clients. I really don't. Me, lead last after a thorough plan. I like the day-to-day operations. I like being at work early. I like solving problems. Believe it or not, in a weird kind of way, I like it when you guys have problems and bring them to me and I can help you. I kind of enjoy that in a sick way. Profit loss, balance sheet, finances, business plan. My job is to remove obstacles between the departments. When there's that stuff, little logical. I get to be the ESOP trustee. Woohoo! That's the worst part of the job. I'm the tiebreaker when there's disagreement. My job is to break the tie. Law, compliance. I like culture, which is a little different in my role. Normally that's the visionary role, but I actually like that piece of it. And I like to be out front internally. I like to do this stuff for you. You guys, I've said before, are my clients. You guys are my clients. Not clients out there. That's your guys' clients. You guys are my clients. I want to make this place a great place to work. Oh, wait. So this is funny. So I tried to do this, and I don't know if it's going to work, but I actually took an excerpt from the book describing these two roles. And I don't know if it's going to play. This is good.
All about balance. Let's take a look at the intense VI tension between founding partners Scott Bay and James Linneschmidt of ImageSoft. James and Scott have built their software company from startup to $16 million in revenue. After working together in their previous jobs, they took the entrepreneurial leap together. They struggled during their initial growth stage because their completely different styles grated away on one another. They spent their early years co-running the company, not realizing that Scott was a visionary and James was an integrator. They had a hard time communicating and moving forward on what they wanted to accomplish. However, over time they started to appreciate their differences and better understand the value that each of their unique abilities brought to the company's success. They have now firmly embraced their visionary and integrator roles, and the company is thriving. Of course, James's desire to have everything in place before taking a leap still drives Scott crazy. And Scott's desire to leap first and deal with the fallout later frustrates James. Yet no one can argue with their tremendous success in a very competitive industry.
So, again, it was the first time I've ever heard it described that way.
Microphone.
But it was like, holy shit, that is us. So biggest changes to our roles. Brad is no longer going to be a VCIO.
If only you had a microphone.
Oh, Brad is no longer going to be a VCIO. I will no longer be in charge of VCIOs. Brad's job will be to help every department, but he will not be accountable for seeing a solution to its fruition, because as we figured out, he's great at ideas, not necessarily great at follow-through. The rest of my job is going to be unchanged. Brad is going to be the one responsible for coming up with the 20 ideas. I'm going to be responsible for choosing the best ones and making sure they happen. We commit to the following rules, and I should have Brad come up and actually say this part, because this is going to get the loudest applause in the whole room. It's like, oh. It's an oath. So Brad and I are committed to always be on the same page. No more mixed messages.
All right, Josh, no end arounds.
What does that mean, Brad?
It means I will not go to people like Bernie, people like John, people like Jason, you know, the go-tos, and say, hey, I need you guys to do this for me. I will no longer do that. Now, hold on. But this is what I will do.
Believe it when you see
Hey, wait a minute, there are no asterisks up there.
No, this is what I will do.
Is this legal binding?
For some of the things that we need to do, Josh and I will collaborate, and then we will have issues that move to the Service Leadership Board for service, that then I will work with Bernie to get those things done. That is what I will do. That is how that will play out. You know, I'm not going off half-cocked, hair-brained ideas that aren't properly vetted, you know. So, I'm super excited about this. And I will say, look, all this is going to be new for us, so there's going to be a learning curve. What we ask is, if there is an end around, because habits are hard to break, point him back to the slide. I will share with everybody in the room. The other thing is,
Can we get that over here?
so I am the tiebreaker. So if something needs to happen, Brad works through me. Brad works through the people in charge of departments. That's how Brad works. Ideally, Brad's job is to be out finding new worlds, exploring strange new adventures. I don't know the Star Trek, but that is Brad's job. Yay! However, Brad is an employee when he works in the business. So all of us that have been around for a long time know that, but those of you that haven't been around for a long time, it's like, holy shit, Brad's an owner, he can fire me, so if he comes and tells me to do this, I gotta do it. No, when he's working in the business, he's an employee. And unfortunately, he works for the president. But I work for the board of directors, which, so I've got to do my best behavior.
Well, that's a circle word.
Yeah, it is. So Bart's role, look, all this makes so much sense. Bart's role is going to be new business development, okay? New client sales, obviously. He has revenue goals, recurring revenue sales, hunting, finding and attracting new clients. Hunting, yes. Hunting. Which is right in the valley, again, it makes total sense. That's right. He is going to be consistent to the leadership team for marketing and making sure our marketing is in line, which means Maria is going to work with Bart. However, I really, really like marketing, so it's going to really be all of us working together. No in-arounds. I will not be an in-around. But the primary change will be he will no longer lead account management, Deanna, Sam's. He will no longer be in charge of that aspect. His focus is getting new clients, which we can all agree is his superpower. Oh, yeah.
Give it up for Bart! Woo!
Kevin Geiger, hold on to your hats. Kevin, VCO methodology, client and VCO onboarding, VCO management and direction, quality assurance and surveys. So if we're falling flat on service, with Kevin being in charge of VCIOs, he's going to be the one that's going to get that feedback, and he and Josh are going to work very, very close together to make sure that we have great quality assurance. Client success and retention, non-service process management. We kind of started down this path quite some time ago around process, but if Josh handles the process on the service and the technical side of things, and Kevin handles the process on the VCIO client-facing side of things, the two of them together is going to be very powerful. Client farming, primary change. I'm no longer going to lead the VCOs because, to be quite frankly, I'm shitty at it. I have let you guys down, and I'm not good at it. I'm too hands-off, and I've never been a VCIO. So, and if I see you guys in this room as my clients, and I don't think of our clients as our clients, how can I ever lead VCIOs? However, Kevin has been a VCIO and one of our most successful, not the most successful one. And who better to lead that group than Kevin? However, he's no longer going to lead the project team. So the last piece of this, Josh, service and delivery, speaks for itself. Although it is much better than what it used to be, there has always been this friction between projects and service. And we broke out projects a long time ago because that's what our clients needed, and it worked very well for a very long time. But now where we're at and how we get to where we're going, it no longer makes sense to have those two different departments be different departments. They all need to be one. So Josh is going to be in charge of lead management accountability, which basically means he supervises people, service execution, project execution, proactive services and tools, on-offboarding, scheduling, managed services, professional service. His goal is to make it seamless and convenient for our clients, and hosting. So all technical services are going to be reported to Josh moving forward. It's a big job. Sugi, she's still in charge of all things money. That has really not changed much. Her role is probably the least impacted out of all this, which is great because she does a great job at it. As QuickBooks will attest when we told her to restart the company and she told her what for.
I bet she did.
So time frame for change. It's already begun. It started when Josh took over and going back to people. We can't do anything if we don't have the right people. We have the right people. We're going to continue to get the right people. Every new employee is going to be ran through the filter of our core values. We're going to try and scare them away with our core values, the values that we all possess. If they have any hesitation in any one of them, we are moving on. And we are going to find the ones that are us. They just don't know they're us yet. Time frame, Kevin's already been very active in VCO meetings. For those of you that have been in VCO meetings, he's been running them now for a while. He started sitting in on the account management meetings, not by accident. That's been happening. Project members will attend service delivery meetings. Nothing really is going to change until the end of the quarter because it's kind of tough to turn a battleship. But I will say the new leaders of those departments will get more involved as time goes on. Bart will begin sitting in on meetings. Those have already started. Maria and I meet every week. I think you're meeting with Bart separately every week. We're just going to combine those meetings and keep moving forward. Level 10 meetings, we are going to expand the tool. We've tried to roll it out, I think, to the VCIO team once upon a time. We're going to expand those out. So service leadership is going to have it. VCIOs are going to have it. And we will roll those out as time goes on. April 1st is our target for direct reports to change. There's a lot of moving parts between here and there, but that's our target. Brad's transition from VCIO duties is going to take time. Anytime we've ever transitioned VCIO clients, we have to do it systematic, we have to do it intelligently, there has to be overlap, there has to be a lot. That's probably going to take the longest in my opinion, because that always takes a long time. But that'll be Q2, Q3 timeframe. So in closing, this is big. This is exciting. If I'm subdued or a little not jumping up and down like Tenacious D, it's because there is a lot that is going to have to go on to get there. Every single person here that you sit down. I'm excited too, but it's excited on there's going to be a lot of moving parts, and we're going to expect a lot. There's going to be a lot. What got us here will not get us there. We are going there. We are absolutely going there. There's no doubt in my mind we are going there. One focus, one team, one accomplice. Awesome every time is what we strive to do. Every interaction is awesome every time. You know when it doesn't happen. You know when it happens. And that's our goal. So with that, questions, let me have it. We are moving forward. If you don't feel comfortable, first of all, I will take the first question. We can't get to 20 million with less people. There's nobody losing a job. There's none of that. It's not a reorganization. It's a realignment.